European idea.
Yeah, monarchy is like, simply the state, the country is ruled by one person, like king, right? Yeah. So that is traditional power, authority.
Divine right of kings, in which the monarchs were held to be ordained by God from time immemorial. And just as democracies are much more common in modern bureaucratic states, monarchies are more common in traditional agrarian societies. But a certain type of authority doesn't always reside in a specific form of government. Monarchy, for example, is just one type of authoritarianism, which is any system that denies people participation in their own governance and leaves ruling to the elites. And while monarchy relies on traditional authority, another variety of authoritarianism, totalitarianism, does not. Totalitarianism is a centralized political system that extensively regulates people's lives, and it has some of the same affinities for legal rational authority that democracy does. Both are modern systems, for one thing, but it's also much easier to closely control a people through a system of bureaucratic rules. For example, a totalitarian government might enact a law that, say, every household has to display a picture of the ruler. It's a small bureaucratic rule with major political implications. And democracy isn't always associated with legal rational authority either. Take the United States. The president has power because of rules set out in the Constitution, which is a form of legal rational authority, but the president attains that power by winning an election, which can often rely on charismatic authority. We can even see traditional authority of a kind at work in the reverence with which the Constitution and the founding fathers are invoked in political discourse. Now, the US, as an example, can move us from what has so far been a pretty theoretical discussion of authority in politics to seeing how sociology can help us understand what they look like in practice. To understand power, authority, and politics, we need to understand the political attitudes of a population. And to do this, we need to talk about the political spectrum, the broad array of beliefs and ideas that make up the politics of a society.
All right, fine, up to this point.
You're a good citizen.
Okay, when we talk about politics, we need to consider there should be some kind of term, okay, which is first the power, okay. Whose power? People's power, or one person's power, king's power, government's power. Okay, another term we need to talk about is legitimacy. Legitimacy is like in Korean words, 합법성. In Chinese, what can you read Chinese? I wrote it, Chinese. Legitimacy. Legitimacy.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So that, yeah.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable. That is based on the some kind of authority. Okay, people recognize that authority. That is legitimacy. Okay. Also, another term we need to remember is power. Okay. Authority. Authority means, like in Korean words, 권한, 권위, something like that. Also, authority means, authority is some kind of right to perform the power. Okay, so we give authority to government, right? We give authority a policeman, right? So they catch, criminals, right? So that is the authority. So when we talk about politics, we need to consider to think three terms: power, authority, legitimacy. Okay, that is the most common, important term you need to remember. Okay, let's go back. Okay. First, power. Okay. There are some different type of power when we talk about politics. First, you don't need to remember, okay? Just you can recognize, you see many different type of power in history and nowadays. So when we talk about type of power, most common thing was like it was performed in history. Okay, coercive power. Coercive, C-O-E-R-C-I-V-E. That's coercive power. In other words, dictatorship. Dictatorship. That means power is concentrated to, certain kind of group or people or person. The good example of dictatorship could be what country? You guys see it, every day on the news. North Korea, right? Yeah, that's dictatorship. And then another term we can call coercive power means dictatorship, and then authoritarianship. Authority is focused on authority was given to some kind of group or particularly one person, like one family. It could be the king also. Yeah. So the power is given to certain group or the person and the people that is authoritarian power. Okay. Also, you can call authoritarian regime. Regime means also the kind of some kind of lower level of state. Okay, you could say government, maybe organization, and then another power we can call legitimate power. That is most people want to practice, right? Legitimacy means 합법성. 합법, the legitimacy comes from comes from people, citizen. So example, the common example is a president of United States. He has big power, right? Big authority. But that is coming from who? Citizens. So we call that power legitimacy power. Okay. Also, another term, there are another type of power, expert power. Expert power means the good example of expert power in politics. Like, have you guys heard of Federal Reserve Chairman? Have you heard of the Federal Reserve Bank? Have you heard Federal Reserve Bank? Okay, I don't know the guy's name, Federal Reserve Chairman. Okay, let me do a quick search. Okay. Reserve Chair. Okay, Federal Reserve Chair. You guys have Jerome Powell. He is kind of head person of all the bank organization. Also, he has the knowledge. huge, expertise knowledge about economy. So when you guys see the news, economy news, the interest rate was increased and then lowered because the Federal Reserve Bank, they decide the federal interest rate, right? In this settings, Federal Reserve Bank chairman takes the most, important role to adjust the national interest rate. So that means he has knowledge about economies and trade and everything, right? So that means his power is affecting the politics, right? So we call that kind of power is expert power. Okay, let's see one more time. Okay, let's watch one more video about the power. Play. Too hot, too slow.
Every day of your life, you move through systems of power that other people made.
Okay, doesn't work. Okay, let's go with this one more time.
Every day of your life, you move through systems of power that other people made. Do you sense them? Do you understand power? Do you realize why it matters? Power is something we're often uncomfortable talking about. That's especially true in civic life, how we live together in community. In a democracy, power is supposed to reside with the people, period. Any further talk about power, and who really has it, seems a little dirty, maybe even evil. But power is no more inherently good or evil than fire or physics. It just is. It governs how any form of government works. It determines who gets to determine the rules of the game. So learning how power operates is key to being effective, being taken seriously, and not being taken advantage of. In this lesson, we'll look at where power comes from, how it's exercised, and
Okay, listen, where power comes from. Okay.
you can do to become more powerful in public life. Let's start with a basic definition. Power is the ability to make others do what you would have them do. Of course, this plays out in all arenas of life, from family to the workplace to our relationships. Our focus is on the civic arena, where power means getting a community to make the choices and to take the actions that you want. There are 6 main sources
Is it okay not too loud? Is it okay? Good?
of power. First, there's physical force and a capacity for violence. Control of the means of force, whether in the police or a militia, is power at its most primal. A second core source of power is wealth. Money creates the ability to buy
Money has
results
power.
and to buy almost any other kind of power. The third form of power is state action, government. This is the
Government
use of
power.
law and bureaucracy to compel people to do or not do
두
certain.
번째가 돈이었고 세 번째가 정부.
Core source of power is wealth. Money creates the ability to buy. Power is the ability to make. Power is the ability to make others do what you would have them do. Of course, this plays out in all arenas of life, from family to the workplace to our relationships. Our focus is on the civic arena. Power means getting a community to make the choices and to take the actions that you want.
Power of community. Yeah. Like it could be police community, part of government.
There are 6 main sources of civic power. First, there's physical force and a capacity for violence. Control of the means of force, whether in the police or a militia, is power at its most
Physical
primal.
power.
A second core source of power is wealth. Money creates the ability to buy results and to buy almost any other kind of power. The third form of power is state action, government. This is the use of law and bureaucracy to compel people to do or not do certain things. In a democracy, for example, we the people theoretically give government its power through elections. In a dictatorship, state power emerges from the threat of force, not the consent of the governed.
Right? You understand dictatorship.
The fourth type of power is social norms, or what other people think is okay. Norms don't have the centralized machinery of government. They operate.
Yes, social norm means social tradition, social culture, right? And kind of cultural background. Yeah, they could be the power of tradition. Could be power. Yeah.
In a softer way, peer to peer. They can certainly make people change behavior and even change laws. Think about how norms around marriage equality today are evolving. The fifth form of power is ideas. An idea, individual liberty, say, or racial equality, can generate boundless amounts of power if it motivates enough people to change their thinking and actions. And so the sixth source of power is numbers, lots of humans. A vocal mass of people creates power by expressing collective intensity of interest.
Huge power. That's the most effective power. Sometimes at some point in history, the revolutionary people's movement, right? Then they change the government. Yeah.
By asserting legitimacy. Think of the Arab Spring, or the rise of the Tea Party. Crowds count. These are the 6 main sources of power. What power is. So now, let's think about how power operates. There are 3 laws of power worth examining. Law number 1, power is never static. It's always either accumulated or decayed in the civic arena. So if you aren't taking action, you're being acted upon. Law number 2, power is like water. It flows like a current through everyday life. Politics is the work of harnessing that flow in a direction you
Yes.
prefer.
Yeah, power is never static. That means it's not stay in the same place. Like for example, me and my wife, when I have some month, when I have more money earned, then I have more power than my wife.
진짜 그래요?
That's the example. So water, power is like water, right? It flows. Yeah.
It's an effort to freeze and perpetuate a particular flow of power. Policy is power frozen. Law number 3, power compounds. Power begets more power, and so does powerlessness. The only thing that keeps law number 3 from leading to a situation where only one person.
Okay, you see the graph? The power grows exponentially, not like linear, okay? You get more power, you can do things with that power, doubles, triples, quadruples, something like that.
As all the power is how we apply laws 1 and 2. What rules do we set up so that a few people don't accumulate too much power and so they can't enshrine their privilege in policy? That's the question of democracy. And you can see each of these laws at work in any news story. Low-wage workers organize to get higher pay. Oil companies push to get a big pipeline approved. Gay and lesbian couples seek the legal right to marry. Urban parents demand school vouchers. You may support these efforts or not. Whether you get what you want depends on how adept you are with power. Which brings us finally to what you can do to become more powerful in public life. Here, it's useful to think in terms of literacy. Your challenge is to learn how to read power and write power. To read power means to pay attention to as many texts of power as you can. I don't mean books only. I mean seeing society as a set of texts. Don't like how things are in your campus or city or country? Map out who has what kind of power, arrayed in what systems. Understand why it turned out this way, who's made it so, and who wants to keep it so. Study the strategies others in such situations used. Frontal attack or indirection. Coalitions or charismatic authority. Read so you may write. To write power requires first that you believe you have the right to write, to be an author of change. You do. As with any kind of writing, you learn to express yourself, speak up in a voice that's authentic, organize your ideas, then organize other people, practice consensus building, practice conflict. As with writing, it's all about practice. Every day you have a chance to practice, in your neighborhood and beyond. Set objectives, then bigger.
Okay, at the end of this video, it is simple. Read and write. That means whatever relationship or whatever organization you are involved in, read who has the power, who or what kind of group has the power. I don't say bad or right, okay? Okay, let's say in the company, okay, commonly the owner of the company has the most power, right? But some people who has same title as me, as like normal person working in the company, right? But I think he has more power because he has been working in this company like many years. He has power. I mean, the power comes from his experience in that company. So he has kind of authority, directly talk to the owner of the company, right? Yeah. So that is also another type of company. Even though he has same, level as me. So there are many different type of power and then the authority in any organization, any relationship that you make. Just see and read. And then sometimes you learn how you can build, how you can double your power. One of the examples is you do work with someone else in cooperation, right? So that doubles your power too. Yeah. That is yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay. So now we talked about the power, okay? There are many different power, first, in this video, physical power, the police's power, army's power, that is physical power, right? And then wealth, the money, and then lastly there are government power. Government power is always comes from the people, citizens. Yeah, that's the kind of power. Then we talk about secondly, it is authority. Okay, authority is simple. Okay, in dictionary it says authority is recognized. Recognized. Everybody know that he has authority. That means he is recognized, right? So recognized and also comes with legitimacy. Okay, 합법성. Yeah, that is authority. Recognized legitimacy. That is authority. And then it has right. Authority has the right to perform, practice some kind of power to the people, to particular person. Also has authority to make decision. Right? Authority, they do make decisions, right, for other peoples. Yeah. Then sometimes the authority force people do follow some kind of direction. For example, the authority makes the law, right? So he forces citizens, people follow that law, right? And the or policy, whatever, yeah, something like that. Okay, that's the authority. Okay, another term we talk about. Lastly, when we talk about politics, is legitimacy. That is 합법성. Legitimacy is generally most people accept what? Certain people, certain group, certain organization has authority and power. One of the example is election, right? So general people recognize and accept. That's why they do vote for some politicians, right? Yeah, that is general acceptance. When you participate in election and vote, that means you already accept. When someone is elected, whoever, okay, someone, I don't support Trump, right? Or whatever. Trump was elected as president. Even though I don't support Trump, my vote election means I accept him as president of the United States. So I give him the power and authority. That is legitimacy. Not only me, comes from all each citizens and people.
레지스티머시 한국말로 하면 뭐예요?
합법성. 합법성 means legitimacy means general acceptance. Commonly, most people accept that term and situations. That is legitimacy. Okay, now we finish basic definition of politics. Okay, politics is process of collecting decision, okay, distributing power, right, and authority. Then authority means also give some kind of action the people and citizen to do something. Okay, so politics means collecting decision, opinion, okay, and then it transfer to authority and power. Eventually, action comes from those authority and action. That is politics. For example, we give authority policeman, right? Yeah. By the law, he has authority and power to protect the citizens. So some kind of situation we have to follow policeman's order, right? Okay. That is one of example of politics. Okay. Now we're gonna see the history of politics. In history, there are many different opinions about politics. Yes, some people say this is politics. Another person say this is politics. Okay, so the starting point in academically, we like to start from classical political theory. Okay, not that not like too old. It's around BC 300, around 400 at that time. The majority of civilization was dominated by Greek. You guys heard of Greek and Alexander. And then you guys heard of Socrates, Plato, in Korean, Platon.
소크라테스, 플라톤.
Yes. And then Aristotle. Aristotle means Aristoteles. Those people are Greek philosophers. They have some kind of idea about, not exact term for the politics. They have kind of idea how people have to live, how people have to make organization, how certain kind of leader has to do something for the people. So those people has kind of opinion and idea about the society, the system of the society. Yeah, that is the starting point of politics. So we're gonna see.
저 궁금한 게 저도 이제 그런 쪽을 좀 본 적이 있는데 철학가들이 파워가 있었던 거예요. 그러니까
Okay.
정치가는 아니잖아요.
Okay. In history, let's say, let's say, good example, Renaissance period. Renaissance period means like AD 1300 to maybe 1700. Like it was like 500-600 years of long period. At that time, you guys know that. Okay, Earth was moving around the sun, but the Catholic says no. Earth is steady, one point, and then sun and moon, stars moving around Earth, right? Okay, that time, first person who has different idea about Catholic Church was not exact pronunciation, Copernicus. He was at the same time Catholic, he was Catholic father. Yeah. He was actually working at the Catholic Church. Yeah. At the same time, he has scientists. Okay, let's go back more to the past. In Greek times, most philosophers, they are doctors, scientists, economists. Yeah. Nowadays, when we talk about philosopher, they just do only, study only that field, right? People think, how society will be. But at that time, in Greek and also in many other countries, so when we talk about, we cannot say also Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. We cannot call him only as one title. He is at the same time philosopher, scientist, doctor, yeah, and then also politicians too. That's the history of. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Plato, Aristotle. Okay, then we're gonna move on to. I don't know. Have you guys heard of Machiavelli? Yeah, he has opinion. Okay, the person I pronounce you, talking to you, they have huge influence to the people. Okay, that's why I, say I mention that person. So also Machiavelli has a huge impact on political ideas. We're gonna talk about. Okay, and then also another famous person. Have you guys heard of Marxist? Marcus, Lenin. Have you guys heard of Lenin? Right? They are all. They are not only revolutionists. They are economists too. They are philosophers too. I'm not praise them. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna see academically the problem we have is, like I said before, is on people's action, right? So idea was really, really good. Okay, yes, let's share equally. You take two, her take two. So okay, we have all two share of 10, right? Equally. That's good idea, right? But there are always some people practice those things in different way. Later we found, okay, it was not only 10, it was 50. 5 was hidden somewhere, right? So I take 7. So yeah. Well, anyway, you guys heard of Marxist. We're gonna see what the Marxist is. Also, liberalism. Liberalism is. Have you guys heard of left wing, right wing party, left wing party, right wing party?
Japan?
In politics, right? Yeah, like in Korea, you Japa, you Upa, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So most people believe in liberalism is left-wing people. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about. Also, you guys heard of conservatism? Conserve means stay same. You know, keep the traditional value. We don't want to change. Okay, that is conservatism. Okay, those people are mostly in right-wing part. Yeah, it's UPA, yeah, something like that. And then also you guys heard of anarchism. Anarchism means, I'm gonna talk about later, okay? But this is a simple introduction. Anarchism is people who has idea we don't need government. Whatever government it is, we don't need government. We don't want communist. We don't want socialist. We don't want democratic. We don't want republican. Yeah, that is anarchist. They are not either left or right. Okay?
그런 분들은 그럼 규칙 따위가 필요 없다고 생각하시는 거예요?
규칙은
법이랑
있는데
필요 없다.
government, okay, there should be law, policy, but
필요하긴 한데 정부까지는 필요 없다.
yes, yes.
그럼 법은 어떻게 정해요?
Like, you know, when you guys make the law in anarchism, just, you know, that is direct voting. Or you make some representative, right? Okay, here, 5 people here. Everybody cannot, you know, go to one place. My opinion is this, right? So we kind of have agreements on certain kind of issue, right? So you represent our rights and opinion. So you go, only one person, as one person go to, you know, some kind of place, then you do participate in making decisions with other representatives, right? That is another form of decision making, but simply anarchism is they don't want government, like you know, nowadays the government has huge power and authority, right? They have everything. They have army, police, economy, and everything. So some people say, no, we don't want those things. Also, you guys heard of feminism? Feminism, right? Yeah. Also, that is another form of politics. So we're gonna see that too. Okay, here another video, okay? In this video, political spectrum means in between left and to the right and there are many different spectrums, right? I mean, when you see color in prism, you see the many different colors, right? Red, purple, you know, blue, and something like that, right? So in political opinions, there are many, you know, different spectrums that is all inclusive in between left wings, right wings. But in this boundary, there are many different opinions. It is a political spectrum, Okay, in this video, it is explained. Okay.
When we talk about politics, we often talk about being on the left or on the right. Do you know why? During the French Revolution of the late 18th century, members of France's National Assembly positioned themselves in the legislature according to their views. Those who sat on the left of the king wanted change and revolution. Those who sat on his right wanted to maintain the established order.
Yeah. First, right wing, left wing, that term comes from French Revolution. So, the position of their, the court or whatever, the place, they were separated, left and right. So, people in left, they want change. I want to change. So that's why, we call left wings, drop out, something like that. And right part, in that place, we don't want change. We want to keep saying, that is.
These terms have been used throughout the world ever since. Today, we use what is called a political spectrum to characterize different political parties, ideologies, and positions. It can be a helpful tool to analyze our own perspectives about government and society. In Canada, the political spectrum is often viewed as having two dimensions. One dimension is dedicated to economic policies, with left and right positions. The other dimension
Right? Economic policy. Okay, the wealth distribution should be equally distributed, right? Some people say that is left wing's opinion.
is for social policies, with progressive and conservative positions. On economic issues, individuals and groups who
Okay,
are
you guys know
left-leaning
that, yeah.
tend to support higher taxes in order to have more social services, like education and healthcare. Left-leaning individuals also want to see more government intervention in the economy to address market imbalances through regulation and incentives.
Yeah, historically, left-wing party, they want more government, more tax collecting. Then they want to distribute to the people. That is left-wing. But right-wing government, they always try to reduce the size of the government.
Individuals and groups who are right-leaning on economic issues tend to support the free market, which is based on competition and consumer choice, not government intervention. Right-leaning individuals therefore prefer a smaller government and fewer services, and lower taxes for individuals and businesses. On the social dimension,
Just
individuals
10
who are
minutes, we
progressive
finish,
tend
okay?
to
10
support
minutes.
policies that promote social justice by changing established practices and institutions. These individuals are more likely to advocate policies or programs that specifically benefit disadvantaged groups in order to address societal inequities. Meanwhile, individuals who are conservative on social issues tend to support policies that advocate the preservation of traditional values and power structures, which they believe are necessary for the stable functioning of society. How you view each of the policy issues that fall within these two dimensions determines your placement relative to the four quadrants. Your political perspectives are shaped by your values, priorities, and life experiences. Your political positions may differ from those of your friends, but this doesn't mean you can't engage in constructive debate about the important issues and how they can be addressed for the greater good.
So in this video, it is nothing about bad or good, right and wrong. There's nothing about it. It is about your opinion. That your opinion gives more value. Okay, me as personal, I give more value to education, right? Some culture they give more value to economy, right? I cannot say you're wrong, you're right, right? Same thing happens. Okay, in here, like for example, Canada, the people give more value to individual success, achievement, right? No, I want to give more value to the group of people. Yeah. Group of people's the wellness, well-being life. I'm going to give more value. You cannot say you are wrong. You are right. It's not about wrong and right, good and bad. It is always about which value you want more. Okay, yeah, and yeah, this video. Then one more. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, I just want to introduce classical political theology. That means we are talking about the politicians, philosophers in Greek history. The time was like BC 300, between 500, something like that. Okay? So because this is the starting point, politics begin at that time. The most famous person was Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Okay? So next week we're gonna talk about more about that paper. Okay, I'm gonna give you just little explanation about classical political theories. Okay, the famous person was Plato, Aristotle. Okay. Classical political theory have shaped modern political thoughts. Modern political idea, thoughts, variations, those are all came from Plato's idea, Aristotle's idea, Socrates' idea. Okay. So that become the foundation of modern political system. Okay. So not only political systems, the governments, government, the power, and then justice, and then the role of citizen. Okay. In Greek time, those three people talking about the citizen's role. What's the role of citizen? They just participate in, producing, process, like, farmers or craftsmen, something like that. They have definitions, they have ideas what citizens should do at that time. So that idea was still the foundation of this modern politics. Huge, big influence still to modern politics. Okay, that's a little bit of introduction. Okay, I'm so sorry about guys today. I'm gonna prepare well next week.